Mark, who was in front of the camera in the last upload, is a brand new hunter. He's never shot a deer before. He's learning. He's wanting to learn from me and from other experienced hunters. And I wasn't just sharing valuable information to Mark, but also to you, the viewer, to all you like fairly new hunters or hunters that may have got a couple deer under your belt or still learning and stuff. It never hurts to learn. You're never too old to learn, never too old to ask questions to learn. You will never know everything in our whole lives. So I was sharing information that could help you, help Mark, and kind of it also helps me in turn. It just kind of puts memories in my mind, like let me know, okay, I gotta slow down here, just take a step back and think, okay, I'm not seeing any deer, why, and like how can I go about finding where the deer are, and how can I go about getting in close to deer, to the proximity of deer, where maybe a nice buck would be. And that's what that video was all about. It was to share with you and Mark on how important it is to just every now and then just stop and listen. But listen for what? And one of the things I mentioned in the previous upload was listen for those blue jays. Blue jays will let you know where the sweeter acorns are. Obviously the deer they listen very well. They pay attention to their environment very well. The deer are very, they want to know where the sweeter acorns are too. So the deer, they're honing in on where these turkey and blue jays and crows are and all these other animals that eat acorns. Those deer are paying attention to that too. So should we, the hunter. We should be listening for those blue jays squawking. Where there's like a concentration of blue jays in an area where there's oak trees, where there's acorns falling. Hone in on that location where those blue jays are squawking. Because that's where the sweeter, better tasting acorns are. And ultimately, that's where you want to sit for your evening stakeout and wait for those deer to come in and feed on those sweeter acorns. And also, blue jays and red squirrels and chickadees, they'll sound the alarm. They'll be squawking and screeching, sounding their alarms, letting you, the hunter, know when there's a larger mammal kind of moving through the forest. Could be a coyote, fox, bear, deer, moose, another human. But you hear those alarms, that screeching going on, those blue jays going nuts, bazonkers, the red squirrels going nuts and bazonkers, the chickadees sounding their alarm, or any alarm calls from any bird. It's going to let you know there's something other than you. Especially when you're hearing that way in the distance, far away from your location. Obviously, you're going to have the birds sound the alarm because of you. The squirrels are going to chatter and screech and make your location known. But 200 plus yards away, you hear those alarm calls. It's letting you know there's something bigger than them walking through. You want to get ready, get your bow or gun ready, because that deer could be approaching your location. So that's what that last upload was on the YouTube channel was about. It was about talking. It was about talking to Mark and talking to you. And also, it was like 15-mile-per-hour winds with gusts of 25 miles per hour or faster. It was an extremely windy day. Yeah, it must be a gray squirrel or something. So in this video, you're going to see me, Mark, Josh, his father Skip, Steve, and Jason. We're all at deer camp. This is our annual deer hunting trip. Every year we go on a deer hunt, and we could go anywhere. Anywhere in the state of Maine. And some years we're in the Eustis Stratton area, Caribassa Valley area, out western Maine. Some years we might be central Maine, northern Maine. Who knows where we'll end up. But this year, on this deer hunting trip at deer camp, we're in an area where there's lots of blueberry fields, a lot of mountains and hills and ravines and valleys, lots of streams, rivers, ponds, lakes, and just a lot of oak forest, lots of acorns everywhere, a lot of mixed deciduous coniferous forest, and a lot of swamp, low-lying land, a lot of swamp, kind of wetland areas, lots of like heath, boggy type areas. There's just a mixture of everything in this area where we're hunting, and boy, did we get into the buck sign. I've never seen such a high concentration of buck scrapes on the ground and buck rubs on trees. There were buck rubs and scrapes all over the place. The deer runs were just beat down to a pulp. There was a lot of deer sign all over the place. Mark and I have been seeing tons of buck sign. There's trees torn right up, broken completely off. The old buck, we're finding the old buck scrapes. It's not the pre-rut. It's not from a couple weeks ago during the chase and seeking, the seeking phase, heavy seeking phase of the rut. That 7 to 10 day window where the bucks run their scrape lines hard, kind of in a circular daily circular pattern. Bucks are extremely patternable in that 10-day window. So there's some buck rubs there I'm looking at. Yeah, so that time, that pre-rut scraping, heavy ground scraping time has passed. All the scrapes are cold and covered with leaves. No new pawing or tracks in the scrapes. But we're seeing fresh rubs everywhere. Trees broken right off. A rub here. Oh, there's tons of rubs in here, bud. Like a whole bunch of rubs. Rub there, rub there. They're like, there's a good ones in here. These old scrapes from a week ago, from several days ago to a week ago, when they were really scraping hard, just seeking out, going from doe group to doe group, looking for that first available estrus doe. These scrapes are like huge, humongous. Licking branches are high. So there's that monster still alive. The biggest buck I've ever laid my eyes on lives out here. I got Jason, my best friend Jason, after him. He's found his sign on the other side, like almost a mile away from me and Mark, where we are now. He's finding his sign over there, and we're finding his sign here. He's traveling these fields and in these oaks, on these oak ridges, oak flats, and in these ravines real hard. His sign is still here. He's around, and there's some smaller buck hitting these rubbing super low to the ground. There's some younger yearling, probably a little 4-pointer or 6-pointer or something running around in here. Me and Mark are hoping to catch up with him, maybe. Right? We have a date with him, at least, for a buck for Dad.
He's running late.
Trying to get a buck for Dad. I got one for Dad. Now it's Mark's turn to get one for Dad. Right? He's running late. Oh man, rub line. 1, 2, 3, 4. A rub. Yeah, but I mean, this time of year with does cycling into estrus, I mean, this is a core area for a buck. We're in a core area. That means a buck spends 50% of his time throughout the year in that area. That's what a core area really is. They're smaller than their actual home range, but these bucks right now are cruising their home range far and wide, 2, 3 to 5 square miles radius, looking for estrus does. Some are locked down with estrus does right now. There has been bucks sighted with bedded does that were hot. Some big bucks have been shot in the last couple of days that were just standing still, just watching hunters get out of their trucks because they were next to a bedded estrus doe. So I want to show this rub line. Yeah, so me and Mark, we're into the thick of the sign. Tons of buck sign galore. We found some fresh droppings that are not 24 hours old. They're only several hours old. And some pongs and the leaves for the acorns and all. And so it's super windy. I mean, they're probably laying down. This high wind shuts the rut activity down. Them bucks are bedded within does. Wherever those does are bedded, the bucks are bedded with them on this high windy day. So we're trying to find bedded does and bucks together. We're just moseying along, hoping to find one. You guys gotta check out this rub line. All right. Sweet. Anything here? On day 1 of our deer hunting trip, we only had like an hour and a half of daylight left. The boys arrived pretty late in the evening to deer camp, but we still got out there, unloaded the side-by-sides. I told Josh to skip Steve where to go, and me and Mark and Jason went to our location. And I hunted with Mark on the first evening. Jason went separated and went to a location where I told him to go, and I actually told Jason to go into an area where I found a shed antler last year of a 10-point buck. I assured him there was a good one living nearby where I put Jason. And me and Mark just followed the dirt road. I was looking for fresh sign. I was hoping to cut some fresh deer tracks so that we could get into the woods and start following some fresh deer sign and get into like a pocket of deer. And I wasn't finding any fresh tracks, fresh droppings. I didn't see any rubs or buck scrapes on this first evening, on the first day of the deer hunting trip. So then we reconvened back to the trucks at the end of day one. And
oh, you did?
The side by sides, and I'm
you saw that
asking
it was still
Skip
like
for his report. He had nothing to report. Josh did,
really?
and no one saw any deer on day one. So now here it is, day two, the morning of day two of the deer hunting trip. Everybody, we're unloading the side by sides. We're heading down the dirt road, getting ready to head to our locations. And Josh and Skip are going to go to their location, Steve to his, and Jason is going to drop me and Mark off to our spot, and then Jason will ride on down the dirt road, go to his location. But we actually happen to have some troubles right out of the gate. Just as we get going, Jason has a flat tire. His front right tire on the side by side is flat, and we have trouble getting air into that tire. Josh had to hook his cable from his winch up to the Jason's side by side and pulled the side by side up on it, to teeter-totter up on its side so the tire would take air. We finally get the tire inflated and we're off hunting.
Right here.
So there's a lot of woods up in here.
Yes, there is. Tons.
What's in here, swamp or? No, it's the hill.
Yeah, see the lines, the contour lines? That's your ridge and hill.
Yeah, so this is hill.
All hardwood oak.
So there's a lot of land here. We can hold every direction, huh?
Yeah. Hey, hold on, listen.
I can't help you. I gotta hold the brake.
That's fine.
All right.
It should take air. Yep, take it.
It is?
Yep, take it. I can see it getting bigger.
Well,
We got it.
good. We got her. We got it.
It was probably the rim.
No, it was too much.
weight on it.
It wasn't enough air. It didn't have enough shock to pick it up.
You got
Nice job.
that was good, huh?
Yeah, it was good. It was just the rim. There's a slice in the tire a little bit, but I checked it. It's not leaking. It just got super cold last night. It went down.
That cord gets stuck into the hole that's at your finger.
Just shove it in there.
Yep.
Oh, it's starting to rain. I got drops on my camera. Just a few little sprinkles, nothing too.
Oh, that's the way it is today.
Ow! My glove is stuck. Yep, and
Luckily, it was your glove and not your hand.
I know. That wind.
The wind, we gotta get in the woods out of it.
The wind.
Yeah.
Gotta get out of the wind. Okay.
Which
The big one. There's two. One's big, one's small. Lock her up.
It's the morning of day one, and boy is it windy. The wind is just a howl. It's like 15, 20 mile per hour winds with gusts over 30 miles per hour. It was calling for rain on day one. We did have some passing rain showers. It was just a good day to just walk the woods and hoping to cut some fresh deer tracks and get on into a pocket of deer. That's what the majority of us did mostly on the morning of day one. Me and Mark, we're having a good old time, laughing, joking, just sharing some tactics and tricks that I know. I'm sharing some information with Mark. He's a new hunter, never shot a deer before. Mark's learning from me, so I'm sharing with him some things that I've learned along the way, and some tactics and tricks that I'm sharing with him and you, the viewers. And me and Mark, we're seeing tons of buck scrapes, old buck scrapes, because it's about 15th, 16th of November, middle of November. The scrapes are gone cold. The does are cycling into estrus. Many of the does have already been in estrus and bred. Some are still coming into estrus. The bucks, they're like in that lockdown phase that everyone calls it. The bucks are staying with does for 2, 3, 4 days at a time. They're bedding with does, feeding with does, following the does. The bucks are just locked down onto those does. And so the scrapes go cold. The scrapes mean nothing to them in the middle of November when the peak of the rut comes on, and me and Mark were finding tons of bucks, rubs everywhere. There was just a super concentration of old buck scrapes, buck rubs, buck sign. I never seen so much buck sign before. I was concentrated in one area. It was insane how much buck sign that me and Mark were seeing. So I'm sharing with Mark and the viewers about buck behavior, about the scrapes, what they mean, about the time, about how there's like a 7-10 day window that they're scraping the most, that those scrapes actually mean something, and when the bucks are very patternable at that time that they're scraping, you want to be out there hunting every day in that window, that time when they are scraping, because the bucks, they're patternable. They're going to run those scrape lines and rub lines in like a circular pattern. They're going to follow some sort of pattern in that narrow window in the pre-rut. But then once that peak rut comes on, there's no pattern in a buck then, because you don't know what doe is going to be in estrus, and one's going to come out of estrus, the buck's going to leave her and go searching for another, and the bucks are just coming and going all over the woods. Just at that time, the peak of the rut, when the does are cycling in estrus, that's the best time. Just sit all day in a stand, or to be out in the woods all day long hunting. You're going to come cross paths with a buck sooner or later at that time. And so all this information I'm feeding to Mark and my viewers watching the video, just telling all this information. That's why I was talking a lot. Also, it was super windy. I mean, we couldn't spook a deer within 50 yards of us. It was so windy and rainy, wind blowing rain everywhere. We couldn't spook a deer if we tried that day. The wind was making all the noise. So that's why in the previous upload on my channel, I was talking a lot. That's because I could get away with it. While I was educating, Mark and the viewers and stuff on deer behavior and on a trick that I've learned along the way that can help a hunter kind of get in close to where the deer are feeding on acorns, or where the deer kind of help people get in close to deer. Now, the evening of day one on this deer trip, me and Mark, we didn't see any deer. We sat for the last couple hours, and Jason sat. But Josh and Skip, they saw a deer. Skip found a shed, a 10-point buck shed.
So you found this yesterday?
Yep.
Oh my word. That could be the buck you guys saw, huh? Here, hold it, show it, talk about it. What happened? What happened? So
found it in the field.
Turn it around, show the other side. Is it both sides faded? Yeah, it's pretty faded. So that's the kind of deer that live out here. We're after that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Deer in the hood.
That would be very nice.
Yep. Oh, I needed it, but to put my camera in, but it's alright, I'll get it.
And Josh and Skip had their rifles up. They had their scopes on a nice buck. They're telling us. And they're saying that every time the buck would stop, they'd only have a shot at the rear end. Only the ass end of the buck was showing. And they didn't have a clear, ethical shot at that buck. But they said he had quite the headgear. So Josh and Skip, they got on a nice buck. Couldn't seal the deal. And then a little bit later, even the last hour of daylight, Josh and Skip and Steve back up at the side-by-side, and they went for a little side-by-side ride. It started raining heavier at that time, and we actually all started texting each other at that point, because the rain was getting heavier. It was only an hour left of daylight anyway, and rain. It was windy and raining. We just kind of all had enough. We were all texting back and forth saying, let's meet back up the trucks, call it a day, get back to camp. But in that last hour, Josh, Skip, and Steve, they go to a nice area, a vantage point where they kind of shut off the side-by-side and went quiet. And out stepped a black bear, like out in front of the side-by-side, and it sat down on the trail right in front of them. And Josh is hurrying for his rifle, he's getting his dad to get his rifle. They get out of the side-by-side, load their rifles, and they start in the woods after this black bear, trying to shoot this black bear. So Josh and Skip, Steve had some excitement on day one. They see a black bear. Josh and Skip saw a nice buck and had their scopes up, but didn't have a clean, clear, ethical shot at that buck. I mean, he was probably 100+ yards away, but at least they got in some action. So here it is, the last day of the deer camp outing, the deer trip for us, for me and the guys. Day 3, I hunt with Jason. Mark goes off and hunts on his own, and Josh sat by himself. His father sat by himself. Steve went and sat by himself. It's the last day, and we're all spread out in different locations. And me and Jason, we're hunting together. We're seeing buck rubs and some old buck scrapes. We're getting on the buck side, and me and Jason were moseying along and stuff. And we happened upon a really fresh rub. This rub on this tree just screamed that like that buck was there like in the last 24 hours. It was a super fresh looking rub, and we saw other rubs and bucks on the tracks were big on this buck. And we felt good about this spot, this location.
And look what we got here, Jay.
I know, that thing is...
He broke the branch. Got a broken branch. So we found, I think, almost kind of, we were probably close by where this buck probably beds sometimes. The river's that way, and we saw another big rub on a bigger tree over there. But this buck come out to the edge of this field, and whammo, he decided to wreak havoc on that tree. This buck's alive still, and he's around.
Mm-hmm.
He's out here somewhere. Yeah, let's head for the side by side. Shed some layers.
And then, lo and behold, Jason's getting texts from Josh. Josh shot at one. Jason's telling me Josh just shot at a nice buck. Josh is saying it was like a probably big 4-point or something. And he was close. Josh got 2 shots off at this buck. And so we're on standby, gotta wait and see if Josh wants our help. And Jason and Josh are conversing back and forth on the phones. And Josh does eventually ask for our help, for our assistance, because he can't find blood or hair, any sign of a sure hit on that buck. And him and his father aren't finding any sign of a solid hit. They can't find the buck pile up anywhere. So me and Jason, we meet up with them, and we all start looking hard for blood, hair, any sure sign of a solid hit from Josh's rifle. And he shot twice at this buck, and we can't find evidence of a hit anywhere. And I asked Josh, well, how did the buck react when he shot? On the first shot, Josh says the gun went click. He had a dud bullet in his rifle. That's a rarity, and it happened to Josh, the poor bugger. The rifle went click. It didn't go off. He quickly ejected that dud bullet, put in another one in the chamber, and at that point in time, the buck heard the click, and he kind of looked around, listened a little bit. He just kept moseying along. The buck stopped about 30 yards away from Josh to his right. Josh gets a shot off, and the buck just bounded off and then stopped again. That's when Josh took another second shot at the buck. And Josh tells me on the second shot, the buck ran uphill with his tail high. The tail wasn't tucked. Josh didn't say he acted like he got hit. I didn't act injured. He ran uphill and far away with the tail wagging. So Josh missed this buck cleanly twice. We all the evidence pointed to a clean miss. The bullet could have deflected on each shot and just cleanly missed. But also Josh remembers bumping his rifle in the morning, leaving the truck. He tells me and the guys that he remembers hitting the rifle. He thinks it was mostly barrel that hit, but he thinks it could have been enough to knock off the scope a bit, so it was off. So And we leave the woods from trying to track and find Josh's buck. We conclude that it was a clean miss, and we have Josh take a practice shot at the same distance that he shot at the buck, and he was hitting a foot low. That bullet was a foot low from where he aimed, at like 30 yards. So a clean miss for Josh.
So
Yeah. I mean, that's a very nice run.
Yahoo!
He had at least 4 points.
At least. I saw the rack. I didn't try doing anything else. It was
You
just
just
try to get a shot on it. Try to get a shot.
I tried to do something.
There's no hair, no blood, no. He ran with his tail high.
Yep.
And we
Up the
just
hill.
sighted. You bumped your scope this morning in the truck.
Yep. But I thought it hit the barrel more than anything.
Oh, okay. You were like nearly a foot low off that blue. If you were aiming for the blue,
I was.
25 yard. 20
I was
yards.
aiming quick too. I mean,
Yeah.
But you only shot once at the target.
yeah. It's
So you don't know.
the
Hey.
problem is I missed it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey,
But I saw one again.
you saw one and you were able to take a shot at one. That's more than what I've done.
Yeah.
Well, what a lot of people have done.
Maybe you should go with me.
I need you to tell me where to go around here with Justin. Justin knows the deer are around here, but you having like an instant going, I smell a deer there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hey,
It was a miss. It was exciting.
this
Let's
shit
go
happens.
have lunch. Let's try again.
And go again.
Exactly. Shake it off. We'll get the other gun.
And too bad you didn't get any video of it.
I literally just moved the camera at that point and put it behind my back.
And you were, but you had it where you could have recorded.
Yeah, completely. It was right here, right next to me.
But then you moved it. But
I
you
moved
could
it to
have.
get comfortable because my neck started hurting. So I'm like,
That'd been sweet if you got some footage of him.
Oh,
hanging.
that would have been. It would have been clear as day too.
Would have been good footage.
That would have been amazing.
He was a nice young buck, huh? Living to see another day.
Definitely. Something was protecting that deer.
Something. What? The click of the gun.
Yes. Oh, something was big time. I put a round in that gun. I know for a fact because I was down there, standing on this side, and I
So
pulled
a
it back,
dud bullet?
and I thought the guy was out in the woods, so I was trying to be quiet, and I made sure it went forward, and then pushed it forward fast.
Was it because you saw his pickup truck?
I was trying to be quiet.
Because you
Just
guys
in case
come
I
up and there
thought-
was another truck.
Yeah, because I thought he was out in the woods, so I was trying to be quiet.
You were sitting in the truck all the time.
Yeah.
He was just in his truck.
Yeah.
Same guy, same kid.
Yeah.
He saw a buck go down there this morning.
Oh, he did.
Nice buck, he said. So he drove down to see if it was going to pop back out at all.
Oh, and it didn't. And then Josh came over this side. Well, this is where he told you to come in this. Oh no, you
No,
changed.
he told us keep. He's like, don't worry.
Go
about
out
me.
into that, yeah.
He said, don't worry about me. Just keep going.
But you
down
respect
that way.
him enough and came,
Yeah, I said I'm not.
and it
gonna
paid
do that.
off. You had one come at you.
Yeah. So
Where'd your dad go? Where was he sitting?
In a
back
hell
at.
hole.
Oh, you stayed.
Yeah, he stayed back. I asked him if he wanted to walk with me.
I went in to the left-hand side of that, and it was all shrubs like this, but you sink your feet this deep. Took a face plant once.
Nothing up there. It was a miss.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Tons of tracks and scuff marks. I saw where he went downhill, scuffed hard.
Yeah.
Moss and dirt or soil. He was flinging. He was hoofing it hard. He was running hard with tail high and going uphill. All evidence pointing to a miss.
There had to have been a bullet in the chamber when it clicked.
When you jacked the, did the round come out when you pulled
It
it?
must have, because I was too busy. Like when I pulled it back, I was watching him, and then I looked down and there was no round, and I had it about here. There had to have been. They're all gone. I shot twice.
And you had three,
So there was a round in the barrel.
and that
on the
didn't
clip.
go. That didn't go off. A dud. You legit found a dud on
Yeah.
the wrong.
Because I had 4 rounds. This is my 4th. And it should be the button one. Yep, button. You gotta be kidding me.
What was in that Pop Tart?
Son of a bitch.
I'll bleep that out.
He was,
Sound like you.
he was well protected.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Something was looking after that
Yeah.
deer today. Something was.
It's just the universe telling me I should be a guide, not a hunter.
All right, so
Oh, let's go. Good
We'll
deal.
go back to the middle.
We're gonna go
where
have
they
lunch.
split,
Have lunch
and just
and
have
then,
lunch right in the
and then
middle.
go
Okay.
go hunt.
That way we can see all around us.
are you gonna jet back to the truck?
Oh yeah, that's right too.
Yeah,
You
go
had
back
to
to
get
I
your
gotta
gun.
get rid of this gun.
You've got to get
Yeah.
a different rifle. Let's go have lunch.
the- You want my keys? You gonna run there?
Yeah.
Let's go have lunch. What, bud? You keep it. Put it in your. I don't want a partial.
My very own?
Yeah. Just take it. You're gonna be eating soon.
You'll get up there.
I'm roasting.
No, it's so damn hot.
Oh, I shed my coat. It's too hot.
We had some excitement on this deer hunting trip this year. One of us finally got a shot out of a nice buck. A couple of the guys saw a nice black bear. We got into the buck sign galore, just rubs and scrapes everywhere. Skip finds a nice 10-point shed to a nice buck. And Josh, Skip get their scopes on a nice one too. And Josh actually almost put a tag on a nice, beautiful buck. So we finally had some action on this year on our annual deer hunting trip. I hope all of you enjoyed this episode of showcasing mine and the guys' annual deer hunting camping trip. I hope that maybe you learned something, learned how to be a better hunter than us, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And I hope that you watch the next upload on Spikes and Gills. Definitely smash that like button before you go. Subscribe to Spikes and Gills if you're not already. We'd greatly appreciate the support and follow. I'd love to see Spikes and Gills grow. Can't do that without your help and support, so definitely subscribe. Smash that like button before you go. Really appreciate the support and follow, everybody. All right, see you next time.